Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's day is going good, well. So, I'm back with part 2 of this connection thing from school that I am talking about and letting y'all aware of it, know about it at least. Here's the situation. Last video I made, I noticed that at the tail end of the video that the audio cut out. And you couldn't hear what I was saying in teleport. So what I'm going to do was I'm going to basically edit this, or at least do my best to edit it because my storage level is still, not great. But I'm going to put it on the timeline in my editing app and cut it in half, and I'm going to actually take the video, the 3-minute newer one that I made, and put it right between here to finish off the sentence that I was saying, and then the rest of it's going to start off right from where I left off right there and here. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna be going on. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause it now and do that, and this is gonna be going straight back to the last 3 minutes of what y'all was trying to get y'all to hear, but you couldn't hear. Okay, so just like Alexandria was for Rick and the group when we all left College Street. I'm really trying not to say the name of these schools. But yeah, I'm trying to keep them private just as much as the people's names. But anyway, ended up at our middle school. That was just like Rick, Glenn, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Eugene, Abraham, Rosita, Sasha, Carol, Gabriel, Noah, and Tyrese ending up in West Virginia, and then later Alexandria, except for Tyrese, obviously, because he didn't survive. Anyway, girl with the name C here, she never went with us to middle school. Though middle school was the start of season 6 for us, like I said, season 6th grade. That was when we met the group from the middle school. Had a elementary to it, by the way. Like the name of it was also an elementary school, the title of it. Anyway, which was our, so I lost where I was again. They invited us in. We, became a part of their, team, their mascot, whatever you want to call it, family, just as much as Rick and the group became a part of Alexandria family. West, the middle school was a new start for us, although it was only a month into middle school when the kids that came from their elementary school started having problems with us from college, from our elementary school, because there's different city elementary schools, and yeah. So that's the end of page 14, and I think I'm gonna leave it here, guys, because we're kind of where my goal was to stop, so I think I'm gonna end it here. But I'll be back with this to finish off. So yeah, page 15 is where I'll start back on, and that will I want to get another 14 done, and that should land me around season 9, 10. I want to say keep scratching my nose, it's itching. But yeah, and if it doesn't, maybe 8th grade, something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's what I got for y'all for right now, the info. So there'll be a part 2 to this information, so this connection. Okay, so y'all have a great day, and thank you for watching, guys, and stay tuned. See ya. Alright, now page 15, part 2. It took the office making the whole 6th grade come out and stand in the hallway and hearing a big conversation, basically, about the drama, right? And saying, some of the problems, which were going, going one of a lot of problem people, students blaming, me for some of the things that were going on, actually. because there were a lot of lies about me that followed me from college, from our elementary school. Yeah, the first name of the elementary school starts with college. By the way, the word college, to over to the middle school. To be honest, though, that makes total sense to happening because the community of Alexandria called a group meeting about some of their problems that they needed to be taken care of. They were also debating on whether or not to kick out Rick, exile Rick. The office, school office, was debating whether or not to believe the people who were spreading the lies about or not. And the end of it all through, I did get out of the situation, and those people who were doing it didn't exactly stop with what they thought about me, but they did stop with trying to get the office to falsely punish me, put it that way. I mean, the office finally saw that they're just being dumb, ignorant kids in 6th grade, and that, people, rumors spread and lies spread, and hate is one of the main things in school, right? Hate and drama. It shouldn't be, but it is. But anyway, see, I lost my place again. The lies or not. In the end of it, though, I did, get out of the situation. Like I said, those people who were doing it didn't exactly stop them, through, but they did stop with trying to get the office falsely punish me. Back on the other hand, ended up, Rick, on the other hand, ended up calming down the citizens of Alexandria. There was right that was right when Pete came out and tried to attack Rick with a sword, right? You remember that scene at the end of the season. For me, there was a kid who was trying to beat me up because he thought I was a terrible person for the lies he believed. Yeah, I went through that. Falsely accused and nearly beat for no reason. That's something I have experienced. And really not just once. Now, you're probably thinking, well, given that Pete tried to kill Rick at the end of 6th grade, how did it go into the middle school? Well, this is how. Alright, so basically, 5th grade was cut short, right? For us all back in, was it 2019? 2020? And that was because COVID-19 came out, right? Everybody remembers COVID. The coronavirus shut down the economy for a while. We had pretty much like a 3-month summer break, and that actually mirrors when Walking Dead Season 5 was left on the cliffhanger when Season 6 started up. That actually kind of mirrored the cliffhanger that happened because we were left like on the cliffhanger in 5th grade. So yeah, that's basically, what's going on there. But anyway, that's the best explanation I have to it right now anyway, So yeah. Okay, so page 16. So he was supposed to, let's see here. I need to reframe what I just read. For those lies about me, he was supposed to, though, just like Pete was in a timeline. Rick shot and killed Pete without any hesitation. I, on the other hand, to the kid exactly how it was, and I told him exactly how it was. I obviously didn't hurt him or anything. There's many times I probably should have defended myself and ended up hurting somebody just because they were trying to threaten my life. But anyway, I'm not really not that type of person. I'm not. I actually have fighting anxiety, and so how can I really sound like Rick's character? That's another question I have for this bizarre connection. On the other hand, to the kid exactly how I took it, I told him exactly how it was, and honestly, don't know what happened to him after that. I know that season 5 of the show ended on a cliffhanger, like I said, basically. When we were in 5th grade before the year ended, I already told you, everyone went into quarantine because of COVID. I mentioned that already. We ended the year exactly just as much as season 5 ended unexpectedly. After we returned to school after, COVID-19 shut the doors, a lot of people were excited to come back. I was too, to a certain extent. The year of 6th grade changed a lot for me. Everyone who made it to the middle school from our elementary, me, all these names that I can't say. I can say the first letter of the name: E, K, S, C, K, I, R, C, S, K, K, and that. There's more that really, but yeah, guys, right now that's all I can. Well, also A, another A, and yeah, there's a lot of names that start with those letters. So, and I'm not gonna say their names out loud because, like I said, privacy reasons. So, but anyway, and that's it basically. Our middle school group was way bigger than their middle school group was way bigger than ours from the elementary school they came from. There were more than what I just named, but like I just said, there's more, but I can't think of every last one of them, honestly. It's been so long. I cannot remember all of them, their names, except for people like, some more of some of, her friends and, their friends, all of whom I can, just, you get the point already. There's still a lot of questions I have for this connection myself, and I'm yet to get them answered, really. But anyway. So, page 17. We all joined the middle school group that started, the start of 6th grade as in the first 4 weeks. Other than the hall meeting and the trouble I was getting accused of. I know, though, that after all of that, when we got to September, October, was when my grades and class assignments started getting harder and harder to deal with. Other people in the class were getting the same way, same results. I knew that, that I could overcome it and pass just as much as Rick and his group in Alexandria were dealing with a new group of people called the Wolves. Y'all remember the Wolves Wolf arc, beginning of season 6. They had a W on their forehead, like a out of mud or blood that they wrote on their head, the W, the forehead. If you don't remember, you can go back and watch on the and the Wolves were a problem, obviously, but not the hardest one. Just like we knew that the assignments were, we were dealing with wasn't the worst. We knew we could handle it. We taught the kids from their elementary school, the other elementary school, our way that they could do to pass their classes. That is what Rick and his group did for Alexandrians. I mean, taught them, how to survive and fight, because they were brain dead on it, really. And they were, in the world, and some adapted better than others. Some for the kids did. Some came along better than others, all that. I know that the assignments and grades kept getting harder, though. I'll be for real with that. They did. It's not going to be, a piece of cake. I know that much. Okay, page 18. Even when we were almost done and out of the Wolf arc of the timeline, the grades for us did start, settling down, put it that way. Some at least. We ended up having about a week of peace, and that was on the verge of Thanksgiving break. it makes sense, you know, why now, because I look back and we were returning from Thanksgiving, you know. We returned from Thanksgiving break. The next arc was going to be the main focus, the Savior arc. You know, when they meet Negan and, you know, the Saviors, which to us was nothing but grades on top of grades, getting worse and then better, then worse again, then better, and get, you know, just an ongoing cycle, sort of, kind of. It was a cycle for us, period. Just like when Rick's group first encountered the Saviors, small groups at a time for a bit, you know. They were telling them to give up half of their supplies, and they were telling them to let them into the community, Alexandria, and we all know that. For us it was like the teachers at this point, and our grades were becoming a big problem and, you know, a huge situation for us. The teachers were saying how we didn't get back on track, that there was going to be issues. We wouldn't like the small groups of Saviors who were telling Rick and his people to give up his half of supplies that he had, or, you know, things would get ugly, you know, like they would end up, you know, they were just harassing them, sort of, you know, but on a, you know, adult version of harass, more like threatening them, you know, all that, you know, if they didn't give up half, and they weren't falling for it already. These things coexist with each other. That's what the last sentence says. These things coexist with each other. That's what I wrote, and I think you know what I mean when I say that. Alright, so, page 18. Page 19. And I got an idea now on how long this video can get, so how long I'm going to let it get, because, you know, it didn't, in order to edit it and post it, that's how I'm going to have to do it. Like I said, the scenes from the show mirror things that go on and happen in the halls of the school. Outside too. This point in time, though, was when one of our hardest arcs we would have to go through was just starting. I know that at the point in time I met and the others, you know, met a kid named, you know, keep his name private, but starts with a J, was the exact same time Rick and the others met Paul Rovia, goes by name Jesus, but I'm not gonna, I refuse to call him Jesus because there's only one Jesus. But anyway, he had a lot of, you know, the same qualities as Paul. He studied martial arts and karate, the same as Paul. He met us, you know, he met us in 6th grade, the middle of the year, nearly the middle anyway, and he came to our school at that, you know, time too. He, he had long hair, like Paul. He did, actually. He was also, well, yeah, John, the character Paul, was actually homo, you know, and this person was too. That's the thing about Paul in the show. He was also, you know, yeah. Sometimes I really wonder if he was actually pan, you know, or bi, but anyway. Paul was the character who showed Rick and Alexander the hilltop. Another community, you know, us on the other hand, he showed us a part of the school we did not know about it yet. That's also where we, you know, get more ground information on our problem with our assignments and the teachers, just as Hilltop gave Rick and Alexander more ground information about who the Saviors were, who their leader was, he gave us directions and a deal on our problems, whereas on the other hand, Paul gave Rick and the group, page 20, the Savior Arc, season 6, he gave Rick and group locations to a Savior outpost, which, you know, later on, Rick, Daryl, Abraham, Rosita, Eugene, Glenn, Heath, and Sasha attack during night, Aaron, and took out just as we took his advice, you know, his information and help, and used it to fight back against our grades and get, you know, more respect from the teachers, you know, earned it technically. The class started getting more simpler at that point, and we felt like we were being respected again. However, none of us were prepared for how the year was going to end and how most of 7th grade was going to be, season 7. At the end of the year, all of us were heading out to the football field and track. We were going for, for a thing called Woodaroo. It was like brand new for the school. We did not know what to expect, none of us did. We don't know what to expect. When we got there, we got to the field and we became overwhelmed just as much as the end of season 6. Rick and Aaron and Abraham, Sasha, Carl, and Maggie were going through the woods with Maggie on the stretcher, trying to get her to Hilltop. They were caught by the Saviors during the time, and the Saviors made them all get on their knees, and Rick tried to negotiate, but they didn't let him, shut him down. When we got to the football field, we were halted, put it that way. Now, I know if I let this video get too long, I won't have enough storage to edit it, in which I want to avoid. So, yeah, there's gonna be multiple parts to this. All this I'm basically telling y'all. I don't know how many either, but enough to get the information out, I guess. If you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, this is gonna be the end of this part. You guys have a great night, and I will see you guys later. Peace.